very early flight tomorrow, like 6:30. I got to get Grantis to give me a ride to the airport about 5:15.
Oh,
It's gonna be brutal.
so y'all don't park at the airport anymore? You just kind of well, you only have one car,
I only
I
have one
guess.
car, and a lot of times when Lisa's at work, Grantis needs to borrow our car, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind. So it's all right.
Yeah. Actually,
Why?
I'm proud of my dad. He's this weekend he is going to a reunion of some as the people he served with from Vietnam.
Oh, nice.
It's up in Boston, so even his commanding officer will be there, and he's like in his 90s, like 97 or so. He'll be there. So I was like, Dad, I was encouraging him to go. I was like, you need to go while you can, while everybody's still showing up, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. I don't want to make it sound dark, but at the same time, it's a reality. So,
Yeah.
but no, he's going. And I don't know if you remember, my dad had curated a book. He had gotten a lot of these guys they'll see this weekend to write a chapter, which is a different part of their own story
Yep. Yep.
of being over there. So I said, you need to take a copy for yourself and have them all sign their chapter, or something like that. So he'll be doing that as well, which
Nice.
that'd be good. That'd be really good.
I have been on 3 different work-related podcasts in the last 3 days.
3?
I kinda and
Jeez.
I've got one more, like, presentation to do for a partner, and later in October, launch a chapter in Bulgaria
Mhm.
remotely. So, yeah, I was Thursday, I was on the ServiceNow 911 webinar, which they just released today.
Okay.
Friday, I was on CJ and the Duke podcast, which he released last night.
CJ and the Duke?
Yeah, it's, Corey CJ Wesley, who's one of
Mhm.
our MVPs, and Robert the Duke Fedoruk. So, they had a good time. It was the Chuck Tomasi you never knew. So it was
Oh,
more
maybe I should listen.
personal questions. You've probably heard all these stories before
I'm
about, like,
sure.
family and cancer survivor, and we didn't even get it was 50 minutes, and we didn't even get through the list of topics I sent them, which is fine. We'll have a part 2 at some point. And then Saturday night, I was online with India doing a webinar for, the guy's name is Giganjali, and he does what's it called? Now Gurukul. I can't pronounce it. It's in Indian, but a good group of Indian folks that, wanted to hear more about they started out asking me some similar questions like, how did what's your path to service now? And they wanted more career advice. And I'm like, "Don't look at me, mine's a pure accident." I
Mhm.
I got here in fact, on the ServiceNow 911, he says, "How has your career changed, since you started?" I said, "Well, in the last few years, I finally figured out what I wanted to be when I grew up."
Right. It's funny you bring that up because, we have uh, an intern that did I tell you about this? About, ServiceNow has participates in, in a program. I guess I don't know if it's all over or whatever, but it's, especially up in the Santa Clara area,
Huh?
and they have, some high school students that take a job, and the job, at ServiceNow, and they work on, I think, Mondays and every other Friday, so it's kinda spread out, but they'll be doing it
That's cool.
through
Yeah.
next June. But what was interesting was I had a one-on-one with him the other day, and he's a junior in high school, so, I was trying to make sure he asked all the questions he was looking for. I asked him a few starter questions, and he asked me about college, and I started thinking, "Oh, crap, I didn't go to college." I don't wanna not encourage him to go, by my story. So I prefaced everything by saying, "Look, I definitely keep it on the table. It's something you should certainly consider." But I didn't. I told him about my journey, and he said, "Did you wanna know what you wanted to do out of high school?" I was like, "Well, sort of. I wanted to be a cartoonist, but I also knew I was gonna be involved with computers somehow." And how that journey was not a falling up the stairs, so to speak, but kind of like that.
You
I knew what I
basically
wanted.
he did a scared straight program for him.
Yeah, right. So I told him, I said, well, I started off at a company. We were installing computer networks for some software, vertical software that they had. And I kind of did that for a while. I built computers for a long time. But I was always more into programming than anything. And just kind of ended up going in that route. So there's no formal path for me. It was just a mix going up the stairs, so to speak. So,
Okay, should we do our podcast now?
sure.
Ready to
Actually, we should have talked about that on the Patreon show.
Well, we certainly can.
We still can, yeah.
Still can. I got a starter topic for us, but we'll get to that later. How's
Right.
my audio level?
Sounds good.
Okay.
How do I sound?
Good.
All right.
Let me pull up the old recorder screen.
It's great considering this is a 14-year-old microphone.
Let's see. I'm gonna
I gotta order some of those bands this week.
Oh, the little hair ties that you get.
Yeah, I need to order those.
All right,
go and do it now.
You can do it while we're playing the intro. Here we go.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2. Technorama episode 723. ChatGPT is the only one that understands our sense of humor. Hey, welcome to Technorama. This is the show that takes a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. If you're returning, welcome back. We appreciate you giving us your time. My name is Chuck Tomasi from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and joining me right over there is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
Hey there, how you doing? I'm doing great.
I'm off to a good start.
Yeah, we're upright. Isn't that how it goes? Right?
Yeah, I'm so upright. I'm standing up.
Yeah, literally. I guess maybe I should too, in solidarity with you.
Well, don't do it in the middle of the show because your
hit the button,
chest makes that noise. Ka-tunk, 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 ka-tunk.
It doesn't sound too loud, but because the microphone stands attached to it, I think you can hear it a little bit more.
Yeah, not now. No. Do it between shows.
All right.
All righty, let's get into some feedback. We've got some feedback to our question of the week.
We do.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
All right, our question of the week for last week was, what geek-centric holiday should be nationally recognized? I'm dreaming bigger. Internationally recognized.
Okay. Well, we did have some responses from people outside of the United States, so it's international.
And read me one or two.
All right. Well, Steve London said, let me hit see more.
Yeah, he's always got some good ones.
Yeah. Unification Day, 20th, the 20th of September. 20th September.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that is the day you go into an alliance-friendly bar and pick a fight. Oh, brown coats, of course. Okay. And isn't the 20th of September the day you release this podcast? Actually, yes, it will be.
Well, we should have May 1st as Technorama Day.
Yeah, that's when we started Technorama. That's right.
Because and it's also May Day, which is what they yell when your ship is sinking. So that's very appropriate because this podcast is a sinking ship for the last 18 years.
This podcast has a slow leak.
And no bilge pump.
Every once in a while, I have to go down with a cup and dump the water out. But yeah.
Brad Miller says April 5th. Is that from Cochrane's first warp flight and first contact day? That one came up a lot for this geek audience. So get ready.
Yeah. Gary Lindros says July 20th, 1969, the moon landing. He said, I'm at a loss as to why it's not a holiday already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To which Steve Lennon responds, Gary, it's because it didn't happen. It's all a conspiracy.
Right. And then Gary Lindros says, but Steve, Kubrick insisted on location shooting. So there you
He shot it on location on the moon.
go. On the moon.
Actually, I was just reading an article about the moon. Hang on, check this out.
Mhm.
We're going to stop right there because an article came in from CNN just a few minutes ago. Abandoned Apollo 17 lunar lander module is causing tremors on the
Yeah.
moon.
I saw that too.
A spacecraft left behind by U.S. astronauts on the lunar surface could be causing small tremors known as moonquakes. Wait, moonquakes. It sounds more spacey that way. According to a new study, researchers revealed that the previously unknown form of seismic activity on the moon for the first time through the analysis of Apollo-era data using modern algorithms. Massive temperature swings that occur on the moon can cause human-made structures to expand and contract in a way that produces these vibrations, the report suggests.
Hmm.
The lunar surface is an extreme environment oscillating between minus 208 degrees Fahrenheit, that's minus 133 Celsius, on the in the dark, and 250 degrees Fahrenheit or 121 Celsius in direct sun, according to news released about the study. In fact, the entire surface of the moon expands and contracts in the cold and heat, noted the study published September 5th in the Journal of Geophysical Research. Planets, that's the name of the journal. Yet scientists were
Planets.
able to use a form of artificial intelligence to gain such an intimate understanding of the Apollo era data that they could pinpoint gentle tremors that emanated from an Apollo 17 lunar lander module sitting a few hundred yards away from instruments recording the moonquakes. According to a synopsis of the study, which was led by Francesco Civillini, a recent California Institute of Technology postdoctoral researcher and a space scientist at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. Wow, that's pretty amazing that these must be really sensitive. Although they had to use artificial intelligence. So it's like, what were the instruments actually measuring and why did we need AI to do that? I just thought that was kind of timely with this comment about the space landing. Let's read another one. Michelle Cook Lopez says, I'm going to say John Blankenbaker's birthday since he is credited with the first personal computer, but he was born on December 24th, 1929. So it's kind of already a holiday. You can still have it. It's like December 26th is Boxing Day.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, Denise Inglis says, May the 4th.
Of course.
Of
That's
course.
Ephraim Cochrane's birthday. I'm just kidding.
Right. Yeah. Well, I had a few and you did too. So
Go ahead.
My old friend Craig Watson, he said, Star Wars and Star Trek days might be too polarizing. Pi Day is great, but so close to St. Patrick's Day, I can't think of a better one. He says he can't think of
Pi
any
Day.
better though.
I like Pi Day. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Adrian Meredith says, May the 4th be with you.
Yep.
All right. So there's two. Oh, Kyle Nishioka says Pi Day also.
That's two.
That's 2 for 2. Kyle Nishioka came back and said, maybe the moon landing day.
Ding, ding, ding.
There's another one for that. Is International Talk Like a Pirate Day a thing? And I said, he said, it looks like it died. I said, let's let that one go. Let's let that one go.
Lone Guy's Night says Chris Mahanza Kwanzaa or whatever it's pronounced. He says, okay, maybe it was just the Virgin Mobile ad campaign, but I love that thing. Sean Brockman brought up one that we used to celebrate on this podcast. Yeah. Sis Admin Day, last Friday in July.
I think we should bring that one back out.
And Amy Bowen says Star Trek Day, September. They did name a space shuttle Enterprise after all.
You know, that's surprising for her to bring out Star Trek Day because she's such a Star Wars nerd.
And shows she's also a Star Trek
nerd.
nerd.
I know. Well, I think she started getting into it. I'm just like I was expecting a Star Wars answer from her right off the bat. So,
well,
just good.
Star Wars, good segue because I've got a Star Wars joke for you.
Okay.
More of a riddle than a joke. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K?
Seems like I should know this, but I don't know. What?
HDMI. HDMI.
I gotcha. Okay.
Dad joke and a Star Wars joke. Double win. Everybody's groaning. I can hear you.
As you know, a minute ago when we were talking about the moon landing day,
Yes.
I don't know why I just started, my mind started wandering about what it would be like. I mean, oh, I'm sorry, when you were talking about the tremors from the lander, what it would be like if you could go to the moon and you walk into that thing right now, what it would look like, just like they left it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
There's
mean, I
no
imagine
like rain to rust it. There's no wind to erode it.
radiation and the heat. I don't know if
Okay, so
that
the
affects it.
paint might have peeled a little bit on some of the
That's
stickers.
what I'm saying. Yeah, isn't the flag supposed to be bleached white by now?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I thought it was. I remember somewhere it talked about that. But anyway, I just thought it'd be really cool to just step in there because nobody's been in it since they left. You know, well, we don't know that.
You could go up to the flag and you could just draw a new picture on it.
Put a
"Ma, claim this in the name of
smiley face.
I claim this in the name of Craigoria."
And I put a smiley face on it. Put like on Forrest Gump. It happens. You know.
Or Kilroy was here.
Yeah.
All right, let's sign off of the feedback. Thank
All
you
right.
everybody who responded. We will have another question for you at the end of the show. And your mental triggers are triggering if you're a returning listener, because you know the next song on this record. On this day in history for September 20th, 2023. You know, that should be a holiday, September 20th.
Yeah.
This is the 263rd day of the year of the Gregorian calendar. There are 102 days remaining. Oh, man. Whoosh. There goes 2023.
Get your Christmas shopping ready.
And more. It was on this date in 1519 that Ferdinand Magellan set sail from Sanlúcar de Barrameda. About 270 men came with him on this expedition, which ultimately culminated in, of course, the first circumnavigation of the globe. And he invented the GPS, the Magellan, right?
Sure. In 1519, he was putting himself out there. Also on September 20th, 1893, Charles Diarrhea.
What?
When you're sliding into first and you feel, never mind. Charles Diarrhea and his brother road tested the first American made gasoline powered automobile. Yeah.
And we got her up to 10 miles an hour.
We need to get 2 of these things so we can race.
I'm going to win. And NASCAR was born.
Yeah.
It was on this date in 1946 that the first Cannes Film Festival was held, having been delayed for 7 years due to World War II.
And it was 56 years ago today that the Cunard liner Queen Elizabeth II was launched in Clydebank, Scotland.
Happy birthday goes out of this date to Italian missionary, cartographer, and historian Martino Martini, born on this date in 1614.
And Fabian Gottlieb von Bellahusian, Bellagelusian.
There we go. Yeah,
There you
we're
go.
not even close.
Yeah, I don't care. He doesn't care anymore. He was
He's
born.
got a German name, but he's a Russian admiral. Figure that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a mix of names there. The Russian admiral, cartographer, and explorer was born 245 years ago today, and this just in, he doesn't care how I pronounce his name.
American inventor Frederick Ellsworth Sickles was born 204 years ago today. He invented the sickle, I'm pretty sure.
I'm sick of that. And Scottish English chemist and physicist James Dwyer was born on this date in 1842.
Is he the one who made the scotch? He
That's
was
what
a
I was.
chemist and a physicist, and he's doer. So
I was kind of thinking about that.
maybe American inventor and chemist Carlton Ellis was born 147 years ago today.
Is he the one that made Ellis Scotch?
No, he invented Ellis Island.
Ellis Island. Born September 20th, 1906, Russian mathematician Vera Fadeva. Fadiva.
Jay Ward, the American animator, producer, and screenwriter, founded Jay Ward Productions. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
He was born today in 1920.
An American mathematician and philosopher, Richard Montague, was born on this date in 1930.
Italian actress Sophia Loren is 89 today. Hey, same age as my dad.
And American novelist and short story writer George R. R. Martin, who still hasn't finished that last book.
Short
Born in
story
the-
writer? Oh, novelist, and he writes novels and short stories.
Yeah, he writes novel short stories.
A novel full of short stories.
That's right. He was born in 1948.
Also born that same date in 1954, American businessman co-founded Broadcom Corporation, Henry, a.k.a. Broadcom Samueli. Samueli? Whatever.
Samueli. I don't know.
Happy birthday goes out to these listeners on this date. The 20th has a couple of birthdays. Joel Harper from Milwaukee and Joel Rickenbach. Oh, may he rest in peace. It says deceased on here. So, or maybe his podcast, You've Got Geek podcast, is deceased. I'm not sure. But either way, our prayers and thoughts go out to you. The 21st, Dean Jensen. 22nd, Matthew Jarks. And Brett from Wales. Happy birthday to you on the 26th. And if it's your birthday and you haven't gotten on the birthday calendar yet, follow the link that Craig puts on the screen, chuckchat.com/birthday. You go fill out the form. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. And if it's your birthday this week and we didn't get your name this time around, happy birthday to you. We wish you all the best.
You know, if you throw us a few bucks, we'll put your name on there anyway.
We'll
it's
put
free.
your name anywhere on the calendar.
Yeah, anywhere. We'll put anything on the calendar.
It's like the airlines. If you pay us extra, you get to choose your date.
Right.
Where the economy airlines, you just get seated wherever you get seated. All right, let's finish this off. So, bye, band. And that means it's time for some news, everyone.
News, crybabies.
All right. Well, kind of good news. Yeah, this is intriguing news. I saw this on one of the other news sites. It was not from Gizmodo where we got this article, but the James Webb Space Telescope has spotted a planet about 120 light years away that's about 9 times the size of the Earth. It appears to be a water world, complete one ocean.
You mean that sucky movie?
No, not the Kevin Costner movie. We get to Kevin Costner in a little later.
Okay. All right.
And it's about 9 times the size of the Earth, and it's got a hydrogen atmosphere. And here's the intriguing part. They did a little spectral analysis of the atmosphere, and they think they spotted dimethyl sulfide. Wow, you say? What's that?
Somebody spilled their drink.
Glad you asked.
It's water. They spilled their... I'm sorry.
It's a molecule that's commonly found in like bacteria on Earth. So life generates dimethyl sulfide. Let me see if I can find the exact details for DMS. Ooh, that doesn't sound good when you say it that way, does it?
It's produced by living things, and most of our planet's atmospheric DMS is produced by marine phytoplankton.
Phytoplankton, yes.
Yes.
Now, phytoplankton is not to be confused with zooplankton. Phytoplankton is the plant-based plankton. Zooplankton is the animal-based plankton. So just to clear that up. Upcoming Webb observation should be able to confirm if DMS is indeed present in the atmosphere of the planet K2-18b.
It rolls right off the tongue, don't it?
K2-18b. Sure, why not? We can make a rap out of that.
Yeah.
If you put it to music, then anyone can remember it. Just like that.
How far did they say this was from us? It was like
120 light years. So, just right around the corner. Let's send a rocket now. It'll be there in no time.
That's right.
No. Just remember, we can't travel at the speed of light, so it's going to take longer than that. So kind of cool in the space news. Also in the space news, NASA is, you've probably already heard this from other news sources, but you might as well hear it from us because we're not news. NASA is clearing the air that there's no evidence that UFOs are aliens.
Okay, close the book. We're done.
What they are doing is making a legitimate record and study of what these UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, are. And I heard an interview with Bill Nelson, who's the NASA administrator. He said, Look, do I believe that there's life out there among the infinite universe that's so big we can't even comprehend it? Yes. More than likely, it's probably bacteria or something very small. Does he think that it's visited Earth? Probably not. That's not to say it's impossible, but very, very unlikely. However, all of these unidentified aerial phenomenon, more popularly known as UFOs,
Yep.
are being studied because they want to say, "Hey, a pilot saw something." And rather than, people ridicule the pilot, go, "This guy talks about UFOs.
Oh, yeah.
Whack job, whack job." Uh, let's chronicle it, let's identify it because it may be something we don't understand. It may be a natural phenomena that needs following up on study. It may be something that either a friendly or
Yeah.
hostile
Well, there's
country may
certainly,
be sending over that we don't
yeah.
know about.
Yeah, there's certainly some legitimate arguments for whatever happened. So, yeah, why not look for it?
Yep.
Or at least look into it, I mean.
It kind of reminds me of the old Project Blue Book, only with a more up-to-date label.
Yeah. No John Bell, though.
What?
Remember John Bell? Not John Bell. What is his name?
I understand what? How did we get on Bells in the Bat Free?
No, not him. What was his name? They had they did the show at midnight with talking about UFOs.
No idea. You Google it.
Oh, come on.
Just gonna watch him struggle at this point.
You know that guy's name.
Grumble, grumble, grumble. All right. Well, we have some good news when it comes to EVs. I've been given some
Coast to Coast.
picking
It
up
was with
Space Coast.
hold on. Art Bell. Excuse me. It was Art Bell.
John Bell, Art Bell, Dumbbell.
Yeah, it was Coast to Coast with and now somebody else does it now, but it's kind of cool to
Okay.
listen to it at night. He would interview people and they would talk about UFOs, their interactions with them and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Space, the final frontier. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So getting back to EVs, electric vehicles,
Yeah.
there's a group from the Technical University of Munich that has come up with an electric vehicle that is 25 times more efficient than any EV on sale. Now, one of the things that most people are interested in when they buy an electric vehicle is what's the range? How far can it go?
That's everybody's question. Yeah.
And a lot of that depends on what size vehicle you have because the weight obviously cuts down on your battery life.
Hey,
There's-
that's why jockeys are really small, so they can ride the horses and they don't take much energy.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you pay per pound when you ship a package.
Yeah.
It takes more fuel to carry more weight. But the equivalent of they said that a lot of people put this like in miles per gallon,
Mhm.
which is really tough to do to take an electrical thing and turn it
Yeah,
into
but it's
vehicle.
easy to identify miles per gallon because we've had it so long. I mean, everybody has a good concept of that. So
They said at 103 miles per kilowatt hour, which is equivalent to about 1,599 miles. It's like for a gallon of gas, or
wow.
it's crazy how far this thing went.
Yeah,
So,
but it also goes on to say it had less battery capacity than many plug-in hybrids with
and
just
it only goes up to about 26 miles an hour, 42 kilometers per hour. So it's not the speediest thing. It'll get you around the neighborhood, but don't take it
Mhm.
on any highways.
Yeah.
And it is a single person, very small, very aerodynamic vehicle, which is intriguing because when EVs first started making their debuts as far back as the 90s, they had a very aerodynamic design and nobody said, "Oh, I don't like those body styles." So we have more conventional cars, but they're not as aerodynamically efficient. So we've got to cut the weight, stop making cars that look like cars and make them more fit for purpose rather than fit for, you know,
Style.
aesthetic styles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and we could really start bumping that up.
Well, did you go look at the picture of this one?
I did. It's
It
intriguing. It looks like a science project.
it looks like one of those kind of cars you would put out on the salt flats to for some kind of test. I mean,
Or,
so it's
yeah,
not
or
practical per se, but yeah,
concept car from the '60s. Well, you've
yeah,
come up
something
with.
like that.
Well, I
Got a
mean,
big
it makes
teardrop.
sense.
Yeah, it's a big teardrop shape, which
Yep.
at the front of it looks like a Volkswagen, and then the
Kinda
rest of
does.
it goes in the tapered look. Well, that's pretty good though. But those are the kind of things, like you said, we need to be looking at rather than, you know, it's like robots. Why do you make robots always look like humans? Is there not a better, more efficient way to?
Not all of them do. The ones that are interacting with humans do, but the ones
I
that are
know.
building cars are just that,
I'm saying, why would you always
significantly
build
turned
it
on.
look like a human? There's got to be another way.
The ones that
Excuse me.
build the cars don't look like humans.
No, it's just one big arm.
Right.
No, I'm just saying you got to think outside the box especially for electric vehicles. They don't have to all look like a car.
Yep. So pretty cool stuff. Thank you for finding those stories for us.
Mhm.
We're gonna wander over here to the Hacks and Strange Stories section. This one is a strange story to me. You
Okay.
categorize this one. This comes from The Guardian. It's titled The Immortals Meet the Billionaires Forking Out for Eternal Life. And the article starts out talking about these billionaires who are basically infusing themselves with younger people's blood.
Yes. I've heard
And
about that over time, yeah.
I have not heard of this before. Now,
Oh, you haven't?
I'm all for the scientific testing and whatnot, but this almost feels like, Walt Disney froze himself in cryogenics before they knew that it was safe,
Yeah.
or is it safe, or in hopes that it might someday be thawed out. This I'd like to see more studying. They're hopefully going to turn this from, they said, "Look, it's not all that healthy to drain 70% of your blood and then pump somebody else's in there." Uh, yeah, that's one way of doing it, and,
Yeah,
more
we
studies are needed. They wanna take
we
this to
normally do that when there's an accident, you not on
there's
purpose.
there's more of a and they're looking to turn this into a pill form. So, great, the pharmaceutical companies can rob us for more money.
Mhm.
Slight skeptic here. I ask that people take this with an open and critical mind of what's happening, does it work? Because just because this one guy said, he said he's in his 40s and they said, "Oh, you've got the heart of a 25-year-old and the lungs of an 18-year-old." He's probably gonna die of cancer. You can't stop everything, or a car accident or something. So
Hey, hey,
I would, don't get me wrong, I would like to live longer. I would like to live past 100 if it's possible and still
mhm.
be healthy, still be able to go out for walks with my wife, etcetera. I'd like to see grandkids and great-grandkids if, that's what the Lord
Sure.
has planned for me and my family. But, there gets to be a point where, uh, in order to support a lifestyle like that, you're going to have to change the parameters of when you're working, when you retire, how much you're saving.
Uh,
Obviously, these guys are billionaires already, so they don't have to worry too much about retirement funds. But in
mhm.
order to make this cost effective for the average citizen to last longer, is this going to be another thing that separates the elite? Oh,
Well,
hey, the rich people get to live a long time and the hardworking people die young.
yeah. Well,
So
the other thing is, that comes to mind is, I went to the dentist once, and he
just once? You should really go about every 6 months, Craig.
yeah, thanks. I went to the dentist one out of many times, and the one time he said, "Wow, you got the gums of a 12-year-old." I said, "Oh, does that mean at this point I can stop stop brushing?" And he said, "No, no, 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 no." And I was thinking about this. I went, "Well, if you think about it, things happen. Your money can go away, and then where are you at? You're kind of stuck,
Yep.
because you can't continuously have you can't afford this process anymore. That where does that leave you then?" So, I think the little bit of taking a little bit of God's work in your own hands, I think that you don't understand everything. So you're going to end up with a problem, especially if you can't continuously do it. You know,
Yeah, if we want to live longer, how about we start with a healthy lifestyle? Because,
just
our
do some
culture.
exercising, a little bit of exercise and eating right. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Stop smoking,
yep,
that kinda stuff, because, we're basically killing ourselves at this point. Kyle Nishioka says, or Gary says, these people are vampires. Or he says it's the old blood, new blood meme taken to a new extreme.
Yeah.
And immortality. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
How do you know, Gary?
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
My grandpa said Heinlein's Future Histories did a lot with the rejuvenation tech themes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
So
yeah, good story. Get you thinking. I mean, I'm not totally opposed. Let's try to find a way to live longer. Got to make those
Hey.
telomeres last.
And we'll say one thing.
Mhm.
The picture they have of these two guys with their shirts off.
Yes.
You notice they're looking down at you. It's like they're judging me, even though they're not there. They're just like, we'll just judge everybody like this. Look down their
My
noses
abs
at
are cut and yours are not.
me. I have some abs in there somewhere.
Craig, it's called a six pack, not a pony keg.
What? Oh boy.
All right.
See what I got to deal with, people.
Shout out to the chat room. We've got Gary and Craig heckling us on. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, gentlemen. Every
Kyle.
Sunday at 8:30,
We had Gary and Kyle.
Kyle and Craig. What did I say? Craig? Craig?
Yeah, you said Greg. Where did you get that at?
I don't know. Gary and Kyle. Hi, Kyle. I remember your good friend, Kyle.
We just saw him like a couple weeks ago.
Wonderful friend. Can't remember his name.
That's right.
I'm trying to read and produce a podcast at the same time as talking. Sometimes letters get transposed. So we do this show Sunday nights at 8:30 on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love to see you there. Throw your comments in, say hello, or watch it later online. Doesn't bother us. We
Yeah.
just like to have you hang out with us sometimes.
That's right.
Let's thank our patrons. These are the people that... Wrong music, but I love it anyway. So I'm going to let it play. Okay. Nice little... I missed by one button. This is the one. That's the one. Thank you to our patrons. They're the ones who keep the show going. They support us financially for as little as $1 a show. Craig's already got the URL up there. Awesome. Patreon.com/Technorama Podcast is where you go. And this is our roster of those wonderful people. Amy Bowen. I don't know why I jumped to her name. I missed you.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, and Chris MC. Thank you. We'll continue the list with Dan DeMan Coyer, Dean Jensen, Denise Inglis, Gary Lindros. He should get an extra ding because he was online tonight.
That's right.
John Clifford, John Noble, Jorga Schrauen, Crazy Joe Adventures, Kyle Nishioka. He's online too. Wow. These people are dedicated fans. Saturday Morning Media, Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, Steve London, and Tim Cook. The Stephen and the Four Steves. That's a band name, right?
I like at the end there. Steve.
And we should just do... Wait, if this were like a documentation, like when you document how a command line works, you can you put Steve and then in square brackets with pipe delimited, Therian pipe web.
Oh yeah, right.
I used to know how to write Bacchus Nauer form for writing out things like that. Anyway, wow, we went off on a side tangent there. They went over to the Angry Tribble.
Yes, right.
That's the pub in Ireland that they went to.
Yeah, a pub in Ireland called the Angry Tribble.
They went to patreon.com/Technorama Podcast and signed up. And some of these people even upgraded later. They thought, this is so awesome, I want to up level. And they did. And we thank them because they keep this show going. There's hardware, there's software, there's subscriptions, there's all kinds of stuff that we pay for every year, and none of it comes out of our personal pocket. It's all out of this account. So thank you. They also, I forgot to mention, they also get a special show that we record right after this that they get before this. I know, kind of weird that way.
Yeah.
But Craig and I just kind of kick back and share our thoughts. All right. Wow, I've been talking too long. We're getting to the end of the song, so we can't have
we're getting
that
an extended mix there.
Yep. Which means it's time for remote. What have we been watching? What have we been listening to? What have we been reading?
I
Why do
haven't
we
been
have a remote for your reading?
remote for your reading. I haven't really been watching anything new this last week. Just been. I'll tell you the things I have been watching. Ahsoka, Futurama,
Yeah.
of course, and was Futurama because we've been doing that.
Lower Decks,
Lower Decks, and
Very Short Treks.
oh my gosh, those were hilarious. Yeah, the Very Short Treks. Go look for those, kids, if you haven't.
On the
And
Star Trek YouTube channel.
and Kim and I are watching Only Murders in the Building, which is the second season. And
Donna's been watching that, and I kind of it's playing when I'm working on the laptop, so I've sort of been half paying attention to it.
yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not sure if the
Martin Short, Andrea Martin, Selena Gomez.
Yes.
A lot of good names in that show.
Yeah, and the second season, I'm not sure if it's as strong as the first, but we're not finished yet. We're not quite there, so jury's still out. But I enjoy it. I enjoy all those people in the show. You know,
Yeah.
so it's a lot of fun.
I did not recognize Andrea Martin by appearance at first, but when I was turned away and listening, I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like Andrea Martin from SCTV." And sure enough, it
Mhm.
was.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, IMDb. Well, I
Sure.
think Netflix has caught on to the fact that I like that I'm on this kick of watching older movies because they even started to say Jaws is in the top 10. Like, really? Now, how's
What?
that happening? Yeah, the original
Okay.
Jaws from 75
I mean,
or
sure,
trending now.
it's a classic film, but really, okay.
Oh, their recommendations are really hitting hardcore on this stuff. Well, one of the ones they recommended to me this week was Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I got to tell you, that movie is not aging well. I
Sean
had
Penn
to
doesn't
watch-
look anything like himself today.
I watched it a lot when I was, when it came out and through the 80s.
I know why. I know why you watched it a lot. That
Because
one scene where everybody pauses it.
the 2 or 3 scenes where everybody pauses it, you mean?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that works because I was always watching it in a group setting.
Look, everybody, look what I
It's
see.
got some moments, but
Yeah.
the story is really weak. I forgot how lame it is. So
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't hold up well. But if you just want a bit of nostalgia, you can go watch that. I also caught another recommendation, the movie Midway from 1976. Talk
Yes.
about your star-studded picture. This is
Oh yeah.
and they use as much real World War II footage as they could get their hands on.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, for the dogfight scenes, for the planes landing and taking off on the carriers, a lot of stuff. Obviously, they had to use some models in there, and you can tell where the model aircraft carriers and whatnot are. Coinkedinkly, earlier this week, a coworker sent me a YouTube video of the discovery of the Japanese aircraft carrier Akaga. And the Yorktown was discovered by one of our friends of Technorama, Dr. Robert Ballard, in 1996.
Mhm.
And they revisited that. And you could still see the letters on the ship and whatnot. So it was really kind of fascinating. She sent that to me, and then I watched this on Netflix going, ooh, okay, now I know. Spoiler alert, I know which one sinks.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've had I've slept on the follow-up to the Yorktown. It's in Charleston.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
we used to go there on a scout thing, and there'd be scouts all over the place, and everybody would sleep on the ship overnight.
I could not believe the amount of people, the celebrities in this movie, and those who went on to become celebrities after this
Mhm.
movie. So you've got the obvious ones like Charlton Heston, Henry Fonda, James Coburn,
Yeah.
Glenn Ford, Hal Holbrook, Robert Mitchum, Cliff Robertson. They were already pretty well established, but Eric Estrada is in there. I was like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, he sure is. Yep.
Robert
Pat-
Ito, who you probably remember as Sam from Quincy, MD.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pat Morita.
Pat Morita is in there. Yep. So it was kind of fun from spot the stars perspective. Like,
Dabney
wow.
Coleman.
Yep. He was
Wow,
in
that's
there.
like they just cast everybody from Hollywood.
Tom Selleck.
Yeah, yeah,
It's,
man.
it's all over the place. And it was really kind of fun doing that. There were even some people that had uncredited roles, but yeah, Midway was really a fun thing. The other one that I watched, no, don't cast aspersions on me at this point. I have never had a chance to sit down and watch Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner. See, I told you we'd come back to Kevin Costner. This is the
Okay.
first time I sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
Wow, that is still a good movie. I really enjoyed that. The
How do you know
problem
it's
I
still a
have
good movie? That's the first time you've seen it.
because it won a whole bunch of awards back then, and now I'm watching it and going, "Hey,
Okay.
it's still a good movie."
Right.
The
You know what?
problem I have with it is everybody misquotes the famous quote. It's not if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
It's if you build it, he will come.
Right.
Because the whole point of it is the end of the movie, one person comes to that ball field.
You know, I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing.
Go watch it. First of all, you go, wow, Kevin Costner used to be really young.
I know. I know. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
I know.
there's a few famous people in this one as well.
Oh yeah.
That
James Earl Jones is in it.
yes,
Yeah.
he does a great job. A
Mhm.
great role for James Earl Jones in that one as Terrence McMahon, Terrence Adams. I can't remember his character's name right now, but yeah, he does a really good job. It starts out like this guy's crazy building a ball field in his
Hey.
cornfield.
Spoiler alert.
What? No, that part everybody knows from the
I know.
from
I know about the movie. I just you know, I
It's
mean,
the
I've seen it
ending
before
that'll
probably. I just don't remember the whole thing.
It's the ending that'll get you.
Yeah.
I did watch one new movie this week. Well, fairly
Okay.
new. I think it's a 2023 film. It's called Io on
Okay.
Netflix.
All right.
It's not like scary sci-fi. It's one of these sci-fis that is sort of out there. It's a dystopian future where we've polluted and poisoned the planet so bad that they launched at the beginning, they say 100 ships on an Exodus mission to a space station orbiting the moon Io around Jupiter.
Okay. Right.
Although when they show that scene, you can instantly look at it and go, that's a lot more than 100 ships coming at you. Because you see all
Right.
the little white flares on the surface of the Earth. And why
Mhm.
would you launch them all at the same time? Everybody's going to be trying to get on that space station at the same time. But one girl is left behind. There's one more mission that she's got to get off of there, but she's communicating with her boyfriend who's already on Io, and it really is interesting. She lives at the top of a mountain where there's still like a pocket of fresh air, and she's got a garden and whatnot, trying to find out how certain animals are adapting to this very toxic environment that's down in the zone. So it was fascinating. Not the quickest moving movie, but good storyline nonetheless.
Okay.
So that's what I've been up to as far as watching. Just Don is out of town, but I got to go out of town too. So don't know what I'm going to load up on the old iPad and watch on the plane, or
Yeah.
if I can watch something on their Wi-Fi. But I will find something so we have something to talk about next weekend.
Yeah. I'll pull my part next time. I'll pull my weight. Go watch something.
Yeah, couch potato. We need to sit down and watch more TV.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
Let's head over to the media corner.
Welcome to Blockhead Video. Hey, where can I find some good information about music and TV and videos and things? Over here, in the media corner.
I've been thinking about that, Mr. Han. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time?
Yes. Right. So there are some classics out of that movie. For sure.
Well, speaking of classics,
Mhm.
40 years ago, there was a movie came out called Brainstorm in 1983 with a very young Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood, Louise Fletcher, and somebody we mentioned earlier.
Kevin Costner.
No. Uh, Chris. Oh, what was his name? Not Christopher George. He was in the other movie. Cliff Robertson. Sorry. Cliff Robertson.
Cliff Robertson. I got you. Yeah.
So it not a well-known
Spider-Man's
movie,
uncle.
but their idea was, hey, if we put this gadget on your head, we can record your thoughts, your memories, etc., and transfer them to somebody else. Well, it was a bit further than we are now, but this article goes on to explain we are starting to get there with things like sensors that can, say, move prosthetic limbs, robotic prosthetic limbs, or hook you up to a computer so you can move the cursor around and actually communicate. If you're paralyzed, you can still. It's an early step to where this movie envisioned, but
Yeah.
pretty darn cool nonetheless.
This is one of those movies I stayed up late and watched on HBO or one of the movie channels like that
Really?
back in.
You
Yeah.
saw this movie?
Yeah, when I was like, early mid 80s or so, because this came out in 83.
Right.
So it's probably, mid 80s or so. I remember it on HBO. Yeah, it's a long time ago. I don't think I've seen it since. Actually, since I saw this article, I went, oh, I kind of want to watch it again. And it's not I got to rent it or something. So I may do that later. But, yeah, I just remember being a little freaked out thinking that somebody about the story, not like freaked out, but about the idea of you taking your thoughts and emotion and everything and putting it in somebody else's head, and then they get that same experience. That's just seems a little dangerous to me, which it was in the movie, I think. So I just thought that was a little dangerous and creepy.
Yeah, the article goes on to talk a lot about brain computer interfaces, or BCIs,
Mhm.
and how we're using them now, versus how this movie could talk was thinking about it.
Yeah, they said they played a little fast and loose with the details, but the concept was there.
Yep, and maybe someday it'll be on the horizon to I don't know about the premise of the movie where you capture someone's last moments of death. Where was that was in
Spock did that.
no, somebody else did that. Like if you could stick a device on them and find out after they're dead, you could get like that last vision and find out perhaps who killed them.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to remember what that movie
No, I
was.
was thinking of
It wasn't
and,
Minority Report. It was something else.
I was thinking of Star Trek, the one with Khan, not the Wrath of Khan, but the newer one where Spock was mind melding with Pike as he was dying.
Mm. So I don't know if it's still out there or not, but maybe we'll have to watch Brainstorm for a good laugh, or maybe Mystery Science Theater it.
Imagine a movie experience where you put on a headset or whatever, and you can feel the emotion and everything. Like an extra track, like a laugh track.
It's pretty much what we do. All right, final one in the Geek Library is an article about from Hackaday about helping robots learn by letting them fail. I thought this was kind of the whole point.
Just like your
It goes-
kids.
It goes on to say that the MIT Technology Review has just released an annual list of top innovators under the age of 35, and there are some interesting people on this list of the annoyingly accomplished at a young age. I love how they put that. Curse you, young people, for doing more than me at half
Yeah.
the age.
Right.
He said he went on to say, hey, I want you to, robot, we're going to learn how to do some of these tasks, like fry a fish with a kitchen appliance. Now, it would learn from like a model of watching someone else do it, and then try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, and then say, hey, 24 hours, what's been happening? So it tries something, and then it assesses how close to the goal did it get, make a few tweaks to the algorithm, and then try it again. I thought this was kind of machine learning anyway. So I don't know what was so special about the way that this robot was doing it.
Well, rather than loading it up with a a big model, you can build that model, by tweaking it out, letting it tweak itself.
I'd hate to
So,
see what some of the failures look like. Your kitchen is on fire again.
oh, hey, let's give it a nice, easy thing to do. Let's fry a fish with some hot oil, and yeah, just start slinging the pan around.
I did. Interestingly, the part of the article that I latched onto is the scientists who did this published a paper entitled "Teach a Robot to Fish," based on, of course, the old phrase "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for life."
Right.
And then I remembered some recent "Teach a man to fish" jokes.
Oh,
So, teach a man to fish and he'll kick your backside and steal your fishing pole. Wait, there were some better ones. What was it? The ones that I liked. Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Give a man a poisonous fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
yeah. Here you
Give
go.
a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will sit on your boat and drink beer all day.
Or there's this one right here: build a man a fire and he'll be warm for a day. Set a man on fire, he'll be warm for the rest of his life.
This one sounds like if you give a moose a muffin kind of thing. Give a man a fish and he'll ask for chips. Give a man chips and he'll beg for salt. Give a man a salt and he's going to want to drink. Give a man enough to drink and he'll start complimenting your wife. Give a
Oh.
man your wife and you can go fishing as much as you like.
Yeah, right. Interesting. Okay, yeah, that's funny.
Give a man a fish
All
and
right.
he'll ask for a lemon. Teach a man to fish and he'll leave work early on Fridays.
Okay, let's move along. I think we
Ah,
dismissed that one.
Go look for give a man a fish jokes. They're fun.
Yeah. All right.
That's how we want to end this joke, with bad jokes. Our
Yeah.
question of the week for you for next week is what does 1 HP or 1 hit point of damage look like in real life? What does that mean to you?
Oh, I got one for you.
What's that?
You go out to get in your car and to go to work, and you got a flat.
I was thinking you're walking into a room or around a corner or something and you bonk your elbow. Ow! That's not
Ah,
totally damaging, but like
eh,
those klutzy moves you go because you got progressive lenses on or something and the curvature just isn't facing up with reality.
yeah. Or that guy Bob that sits in the cubicle next to you, and he actually threw you under the bus.
That's 1 hit point for you?
Yeah, you're
I thought that was like reduction in charisma or something. Come on, Craig, you gotta get your character sheet right.
right. Character sheet. Where's
Oh, speaking of which, Donna is studying up to participate in an upcoming Scott Tyler D&D game.
oh boy, really?
She said
What has gotten into your wife, man?
She
All
went
right.
to Dragon Con.
Yeah. Is that what it is? Okay.
No, she was actually saying something before that. So Scott gave her a couple of books to read up on, all about the basic player's guide and the
Mhm.
rules of 5e and all this good stuff. So, it's a little hefty, but I said, jump in, get the experience of it. Everybody's really nice. They took me under their wing, and as slow as I was, they taught me the fundamentals. But
Yeah,
she's an avid reader, so I suspect she's gonna suck up the guts of this book and
That's-
use them to her advantage.
That's like my son. Harrison. We played that one year, and then he came home. Next thing you know, Amazon shows up with 3 books. A couple of them I think Scott recommended, and so he went and read them. And he's been running D&D games at school, and he ran ours at Dragon Con one
Yep.
year. So yeah, he was deep into it. He loves it. When he was younger, all right, much younger, and I'm not very versed in all the rules and everything in D&D, but
No, nor am I.
when I explained what D&D was, he was riding in the back seat and I'm driving down the road, and I started just making up a game where he had to make decisions, where we're playing.
Yep.
So maybe that had something to do with it too.
Could be. I think she's gonna enjoy it because she loves stories. She likes fantasy. She likes, I said, this is like immersive role-playing fantasy where you're kind of in charge of, and I say kind of because there is a game master, and you can help steer where it goes by making your decision. Some of it's chance and some of it's decision. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So
Yeah.
I look forward to what evolves over that in the next few months and years. However, that has brought us to the end of the show.
Oh, here you go.
What's up?
Kyle says there was an episode of Fringe where I think they copied the last image off a dead body's eyes.
That might be it.
No, I remember what you're talking about. You described it just about right. I just can't put my finger on what it is. I remember I've seen.
Yeah, they wanted to know who the murderer was or something. So I forget if they had to open the eyes or they used a sensor or something, but somehow they recorded. They said the last thing this person saw. Maybe they even wired. Maybe Fringe, I think, is where they wired them up to the other person and they downloaded the last memory or something. But yeah, we're getting there.
Downloaded.
Yeah, we'll figure it out maybe by next week. So let's sign out. This show is brought to you by the letter L.
For loser.
Oh, wrong script. Wait, wrong
Hey,
script.
for loser.
The listener line. The listener line.
Oh,
You can call the
okay.
listener line at 707-530-2428 if you want to get in touch with us. Any special instructions for my wife in her first campaign, etc., etc. Or if you've just got comments about what we talked about or not, you just want to say hello, unlike Captain Pike, who calls once in a while and just beeps at us.
Yeah.
We don't know what that's all about. I think now it's starting to shout obscenities at us.
Oh, we can't have that.
It's got an attitude. Or you can email us, technorama@chuckchat.com. That still works, even though my tongue doesn't.
Yes.
So once again, thank you, Craig. And thank you, everybody, for listening. Give us a binary high five, and we're out of
All
here.
right. 101, everybody. Thank you.
All right. The audio recording has concluded. We're going to now conclude the video recording so we can go do the audio for the Patreon show.
All right.
So once again, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. I'm going to hit the end stream button as we wave